It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha. Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone. Brouhaha time. Marshall Wood and Dale McKee ready to go again. Dale, how's 2026 treating you so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah. How long have we been in 2026?
5 days.
5 days?
6 days.
It's been a pretty good start for people of the Rebel Nation.
Did they do good?
I think they did. There's a lot going on. What's happening in the world?
Well, you know, Billy's going to talk about Ole Miss.
Yeah, let's let him do that.
Sugar Bowl.
Who's Billy?
Billy Watkins.
Is that our guest tonight?
Yeah, Billy's been on the show a couple. He's a tremendous sports writer, been writing sports since the 1970s. He was at Red Star when he first started out and worked up there for several years in the, I guess probably 73 to about 80 or something like that. And he went to Clarion Ledger. Then he started writing books.
Man.
And then he became an author.
He's a big Mississippi deal.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
And he's done several articles on Ole Miss through their playoff run this year so far. So I think he'll be a good guest on that.
Yeah.
But everything else is going good. You know, basketball's starting up and baseball's going to start up next month. I don't think there's an off season anymore for sports writers, is there?
It goes on 365, sometimes 366. Huh?
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
They do play on Christmas now. I mean,
Yeah.
NBA, NFL, it don't matter. I don't understand that myself, but, you know, I think that's a day to be at home with your family.
Yeah. You know, Dale, I'm going to kind of make an executive decision right here. I mean, we can sit here and talk all day like we do, and I enjoy that. I really do. But I tell you, what's just a special deal with everything that's going on in the state of Mississippi and Mississippi sports and the history of it all, and a guy like Billy to be with us to talk about it. He can hit it from the get-go, past, present, and future. So I tell you what, let's do. Let's take a break here from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back tonight with tonight's guest right after this break, Billy Watkins. We'll see you after this commercial.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Billy Watkins. Billy, first of all, I want to wish you a happy New Year and, of course, Merry Christmas, and I hope you're having a fantastic first 6 days of this new year, since this is a Tuesday show. So it is Tuesday, right, Marshall? To us?
I don't know what day it is. Of course, our listeners know that about us. We don't know what day it is.
Well, we might as well tell them. We usually tape this the day before to protect our guest on the show from us going crazy. But anyway, Billy, let's talk a little bit about college football. And of course, you know, we had a kind of an exciting weekend last weekend in Mississippi sports. Something was done down in the Sugar Bowl that probably, people never thought it would be done. I mean, did you ever think Mississippi State or Ole Miss would be playing in the Final Four of the National Football Championships? I understand about baseball, maybe basketball, but football, did you really ever see that coming?
I'll be honest, Dale, I never saw the playoffs coming. I never thought we'd get that far. But now that it's here, you know, it's just remarkable. I mean, it really is. But things have changed in recent years. You know, it's not just the Alabamas and the ones who are there every single year. NIL's changed everything. And I think Ole Miss fans, the boosters, they have given to the Grove Collective, and it's shown on the field, and that's a lot of people don't like it, but it's the way it is now, and it's football as it is right now. I don't know how long it will be that way. But to answer your question, no, I did not. I did not see that coming. I really didn't. it's weird to see the name Ole Miss up there with everybody else because it had been so long. But man, wow, it's been a great boost to the state of Mississippi, and because of the circumstances with the former coach, I think the whole country right now is an Ole Miss fan. You know, they considering what the players have been through and the coaches have been through, and it's just a remarkable story.
Oh yes, it's one almost made for Hollywood, especially with Trinidad at quarterback, and just everything in general. Pete Golding taking over. I mean, most people are against the former coach, which we don't mention his name around here. But when the former coach moved on, people just thought, well, my goodness, he's just deserted his team. I mean, this is like, you're going to the playoffs and you desert your team. And of course, a lot of people are saying, well, he didn't ever think Ole Miss would beat Georgia. And I had my doubts going in, and I have a lot of friends, and they say, I don't know, we may give them a good game. I'm just not so sure. Georgia's playing so real, but that fourth quarter, did that quarterback remind you on some of those runs when he would run 30 yards back? And I mean, did that reflect on anything that you remember from the past?
Yeah, there was some guy named Archie, I think, used to do that song. Wasn't that his name? Yeah. Archie Man. I tell you what, man. He made 3 plays in the fourth quarter. I don't know how many quarterbacks could make them. I mean, the flip to Keywan, and the wild scramble, and then the throw to Keywan, who didn't have the first down and got hit really hard, a yard short, and stayed up and got the first down. And then the next, maybe not the next play, but an ensuing play, he was rolling to his right, full speed, and just threw a laser to Wallace. I believe it was Wallace on the right sideline. That was a big gain. And to me, that was an NFL throw right there. Those 3 plays, I've never seen a quarterback in the last 30 years, make those 3 plays, especially in that situation when it was so much pressure and they had to get down the field. So hats off to him. I think a lot of people have wondered why he wasn't in New York for the Heisman presentation. It's just, if I was Ole Miss, I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
Yeah, he's supposedly the rumors came out Monday of this week that he was going to, if he would get the extra year of eligibility, that he has already agreed to a deal with Ole Miss. So I guess that is really good for Ole Miss fans, and of course
I think that caught some people in Baton Rouge by surprise.
Yeah,
also.
And I just heard.
But Dale. I was thinking last week. You win a game like that, well, you won the first round, and then you won the second round, and all that's gone before that, all that's gone before that. You win those 2 games like that. It bonds you. I mean, it brings you together as a group. I mean, not that they weren't together before; they've been together the whole season. But it's just different when you battle like that. And Trinidad, he's got great parents. He's got a great family. And I remember they asked him about the portal and this kind of thing, and the last thing he said was, I'm just going to have to figure out who I can trust the most. Well, how could anybody, player or coach, trust the former head coach that just walked out? And I thought when he said that, I said, the former coach may be in trouble recruiting Trinidad. And it looks like that might have come to be. You just can't. You in this day and age, kids can go anywhere they want to go, and if you can't trust your coach, why would you go there? So I think it's a great thing. I don't know how the waiver will turn out, but it's nice to know that he is signed up with Ole Miss in case it does go through.
I heard him. I didn't hear him say, but I heard he said this, that the University of Mississippi has been mighty good to me. And so
good point.
That's a good point, and
Did Kiffin ever say that? I mean, they got him a second chance in life to coach at a Division I, or a top tier team as they call it, one of the 64 best, I guess, as they call it nowadays. But
no matter where he goes, no matter where Kiffin goes, okay, he owes Keith Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss, a major part of his career, because no major school was going to hire him right then, but Keith Carter took a chance, and it paid off for Ole Miss, and so wherever he goes, he owes Keith Carter, he owes Ole Miss a lot, and I think one of these days he'll realize that.
I really just noticing all these former LSU coaches. Most of them are out of work except for maybe Saban. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
LSU may be your last stop in your coaching profession if you really look at the past coaches that they've had. They usually.
Well, they're not real patient. They're not real patient. I just don't know. They have a lot of missing players on their roster right now. And they've got to do well in the portal if they're going to have a chance to have any kind of season next year. And the whole offensive line's gone. It's a mess down there right now. And then the PR that the former coach is getting, the former Ole Miss coach, is not helping them any. Everybody reads what this guy did. So how can he expect the players to come in there and trust him?
Yeah, and then I was just reading stuff this past weekend. He stole a coach from South Carolina and never told the head coach at South Carolina he was even wanted to contact the guy. And then I also heard that, I don't know if this is true or not, but he called ESPN if they needed an interview during the Ole Miss Georgia game, he'd be up to it. And of course, I guess they declined it.
Now that's the thing that really set the players on fire, was him wanting to be on ESPN during the second round game. The players were really upset about that and hoping that ESPN did not do that.
Wow.
And they came out afterward. I think if you read some of the comments, I know Xavier Harris said all he's been trying to do is steal our shine. And Savion told it like it was.
Well, I think everybody kind of figured out, but I was glad somebody came forward and finally said it. Well, what do you think their chances are against a very good-looking Miami team? Miami might be like the 2022 Ole Miss Rebel baseball team. You go from being the last team picked and winning it all. How do you think the Rebels will do against them?
They are physical, man. Miami is physical up front. And, they had a big win. I mean, they really did. They beat two really good teams. And I'm like you, they were last ones to get in, basically. And I think I underestimated them. I think a lot of people did. But after watching them play, I don't underestimate them anymore. But they're really good. I don't know if they've seen an offense like Ole Miss has. But they can disrupt an offense, too, with that pass rush. But, I think one of the biggest things, and this is the hardest thing, I think, is that was such a big win the other night. against Georgia and such a quick turnaround time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a challenge to Ole Miss to kind of come down from that and realize, you know, you're going to be facing somebody as good or possibly even better on the defensive front. So I don't know. It's just going to be interesting. But I'll tell you what, I'm not doubting Ole Miss at all anymore. I mean, I think they're for real. If you got a quarterback like Trinidad and a running back like T1 and all the other components that go with them, the defense is playing better. I think they can beat anybody on a given night. So we'll see. But they do have their work cut out for them with Miami.
Yeah, they, you know, I was impressed. You know, small things sometimes add up, but I was really impressed at times with both of the Ole Miss running backs and how well they blocked. You know, from the outside, you know, the outside rushers. I thought they did a great job giving Trinidad a little bit more time to move around, and he's got such good feet, and he always keeps his eyes down the field. And you know, that's two main great opponents of a great quarterback in these days and times is your feet. And of course, you have to be blessed with your arm. And like you said on that pass that he, I guess, did the dribbling on that last play was that set him up for the field goal. That was unreal. It's easy to kick. It was easy to kick in the field goal in the Superdome, I was told. But I felt so sorry Sunday night when the Steelers kicker, I mean not the Steelers, the Ravens kicker, missed a field goal because they were talking about all the pressure was on this rookie. I just can't comprehend the pressure that was on the Ole Miss place kicker with 6 seconds to go, and him kicking a 47. It wasn't a 27 or a 37. It was a 47.
47.
Yeah, that was.
I interviewed him earlier in the year, and he told me about last year at Western Kentucky. He had to make a field goal to basically get them to the conference championship game. I think it was the last second kick, and he made it. And we were just talking about what he thinks about and all that kind of stuff, and he just talks about it's another kick. It's another kick. I don't know if he could say that the other night, but you know the funny thing about him is he loves soccer and wanted to play soccer, didn't want to play football, and the sophomore year he kind of got around it some way or another, but his junior year when football started, she put him and his mother put him in the car, put his cleats in the car, and took him to school and told him you're playing football. And that's the way it was. He said she basically made me do it. And I said, how glad are you now? And he said, Mama knows best.
There's a lot of us that are glad.
Yeah. So, man, he's got to be the best kicker in the country. I mean, what's he made? 8 of 9 and 50 plus now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of pros that would take that.
Yeah. No, he's. I think Pete Golden said it in one of his TV interviews. He said, "Well, you know, when we went on Wednesday, when we went through the day before, he missed." He missed about 3 field goals.
Got him out of his system.
and so,
but you know what I say about that?
Yeah.
The lights weren't on.
Yeah.
Some guys just when the lights were on, man, they just become a different person. And I think Lucas is one of those guys.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just it was good for the state of Mississippi. It's just like good for when the Mississippi State won the national championship in baseball and Ole Miss followed up.
Yeah.
Southern Miss won the Metro. I mean, won the NIT that year, even though that was when there was only 32 NCAA teams. So that was quite an accomplishment back in those days. But we should be proud. Delta State, I guess, was our last national championship in football, and that was back around 2000, I believe, or somewhere in that era. So we don't get those many, but when we do, the whole state seems to enjoy it. And so that's
absolutely, man. We take such a beating in other ways, but Somebody, some former coach made the statement that Louisiana puts out per capita the most NFL players. I don't think that's right. I think Mississippi does. Mm-hmm. I want to fact check him on that because I don't think that's right. I think Mississippi does.
Well, of course, we go back a long way together. But I remember Billy Brewer and I were talking one day about recruiting because Billy wasn't, it just seemed like every year everybody else was getting more players than him, but he was always filling in, kind of like Ole Miss is doing now, but he didn't have the transfer portal. He had the junior colleges and things of that nature. And he told me one day, I said, Coach, is it hard to coach in Mississippi? Is it hard to recruit in Mississippi? He said, man, let me tell you something. He said, I can fly a coach to Miami, Florida, and leave him for a week. And within the 30-mile radius of Miami, there's like 180 high schools that he can visit. And he said, I don't believe we got hardly that many in Mississippi altogether. And I got one coach down there, looking at 80 different, 100-something high schools and 30 in just a 7-day period, And I thought, that kind of opened my eyes that you do have to kind of recruit outside the state. And I really get, I don't say I get irritated at them, but I don't see the Mississippi love for a lot of our high school players. And for the high school players that really want to play for college, because supposedly the Dandy Dozen, like this year, 10 of them are going out of state or something like that. And it really breaks my heart. Really, I would like for them to, I was talking to a kid back in 2015 that was on the Dandy Dozen team, and he said that Southern Miss never did contact anybody on that Dandy Dozen list because they didn't think that they were going to sign with Southern Miss, so they didn't even bother contacting them or anything, send them a letter or offering them a scholarship. So I thought that was bad too. And I remember Bobby Collins talking about one time recruiting. He said, it's quicker for me to get to Pensacola than it is to the Mississippi Delta. So, those are things, location means a lot. I know Ole Miss is located in a pretty good area there. They're close to Alabama, they're close to Tennessee, they're close to Arkansas too. And South Mississippi is a long way away. But anyway, I'm glad the point.
I think TV's changed a lot too. These kids see all the schools now. Every school in the country's on TV, just about. So, they can see those teams, and they can join. They can become a fan, and I might want to go there or whatever. And it's just opened up a big new world. The TV contract. So, I think in some cases, I think somebody like Santana Perkins, I think it really meant a lot to him to stay in Mississippi. And you're going to have some of those kids, but I think other kids maybe see other teams on TV and getting like their uniforms or like their coach or whatever, and it makes it harder to keep them home. You make a good point. It's getting harder, it seems like.
Yeah, Jarrell Poe from Wayne County, he told me one time, he said, I went over there to that All-American game that they play in Texas, and he said all these guys were, committing these different schools, and he said, I just blurted out LSU, but he said, because he didn't know really where he wanted to go, and at that time, so when he came back, I said, well, you going to LSU now? He said, I don't know. He said, all those guys from Louisiana, man, they all wanted to play at LSU, and all those guys from Texas wanted to play at Texas. And he said, why can't I stay in Mississippi and play for a Mississippi team, And he said, of course, Ogeron came in at the time, too, and did it. But, recruiting has changed, like you said, and TV's changed it. Like you said, Ole Miss used to be on TV, maybe 3 times a year back in the 70s, and now they're on every single week. You got podcasts, you got highlights, you can watch a press conference about every day. It's just, it's a changed world, and so the future will change. People may not like it right now, but it'll change again because history changes every 10 years, they say. So, or repeats itself every 10 years. So we may go back. But what kind of changes do you think that we need to make to the college football schedule Do we need to have 16 teams and have everybody play at least one playoff game? I mean, the top four.
It could be 16, maybe the magic number. I mean, I think maybe some teams got left out that could have made a run like Miami had, but there were 2 teams in there that I don't think should have been. No offense to them, but Tulane and James Madison had no business being in there. It's not like basketball. It's just I don't want to grow it. I wouldn't want to grow it past 16. But you think about it. Ole Miss is going to be playing their 15th game this week. Is that right?
That's about what I counted out. Yeah, I think that's right. 14th
and 15th. That's a lot of wear and tear on a young man, 21, 22 years old. I mean, that's a lot of demand and all. And I don't know if you can make the season any longer than that. I mean, you get into the area now playing an NFL season.
Yeah.
And, Pete Golden's made this point a lot. He said a lot of teams that get in the playoff is they get tired of football. And he said, you better have players that love football because you're going to be tested. You miss your family or you're just beat up and tired or whatever. It's just a lot of things play against you. And I've really never thought about it like that. But it's true. But this bunch, I think it's shown they love to play football and they love to play football together. Mm. But, I've interviewed a lot of these players this year. And I even told my wife one night, I said, the guys I'm interviewing are just different. They're just, than anybody I've ever interviewed before, any group. They just had a maturity about them. They were just, I don't know what it was. It was just something very, very different about them. And it was really refreshing to a great degree, and it was fun to write about. But I don't know what that means, but I've just always thought that this team had a different vibe about it. And, I guess it's showing off right now.
Well, if anybody in the world would know that and see that, in my opinion, it would be you. And it is amazing. As somebody like me that doesn't have sense enough to get out of the rain, you can see there's something special. There's just a feel. There's something special about that group and this season. And it doesn't come along very often. It's a rare bird. And it's certainly something to be enjoyed.
You're right about that.
Certainly something to be enjoyed. Listen, Billy, I hate to be the bringer of bad news. It's bad news for us. It's good news for you. We out of time. We'll talk to you all day, brother. But we appreciate you taking time.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir, for breaking this down for us. We're going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors, and then I'll be back with tonight's final segment right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody. I tell you what, Billy Watkins, man, as far as Mississippi sports, I mean, that's probably about as good as it gets, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, he's a treasure. He's, like I said, he's been sports writing since the early '70s. Mm. And you know what's odd about him? He went to Mississippi State for 2 years, and then he went to Ole Miss for 2 years.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, that's kind of odd, particular, but I mean, it works out pretty good. It gives him that connection and all. And I mean, he does some. Man, I've seen him do some things. He's been at it. He's a Mississippi treasure. He really is.
There's no doubt about it.
Well,
we're about out of time.
We're about out of time. But we ain't out of luck. We had some good luck here. You had good luck getting folks like Billy on our program, Dale. You do a good job with that. Anything else you want to say here before we close out this pre-playoff program? Game coming up, anything you want to leave us, any treasure you want to leave us with?
I don't know. If you want a head coaching job, I think this is a week to get it in the NFL. If you think you can coach, just call them.
Give them a call.
I know Atlanta and Cleveland this morning, they're looking for coaches.
Oh, boy.
Atlanta won their last 4 games, and they fired the coach and the GM.
Man, they ain't messing around.
No, and the president or the CEO too.
Oh,
So anyway,
might want to steer clear of that one.
well, we could go over and coach it. You know, on the weekends, come back over here.
Yeah.
You know.
Look into that for us, and let's give us a full report on what we're doing next week. When we come back. And then, on that happy note, folks, just remember that you can follow us on our Facebook page at the Brouhaha, and we catalog all of the shows for you, where you can listen to them on demand at our YouTube channel at the Brouhaha. But as for now, it's time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, folks, and we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Del McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.